Oh yeah, like you said, he's a big quarterback. He's a bigger guy, so you got to tackle him like he's a running back. He can get outside the pockets and still field make throws.
CJ, what do you feel like the defense accomplished during the bye week, and what's sort of y'all's mindset going into the final 5 games of the regular season?
I think we just accomplished, getting guys a lot of reps throughout the week, and focusing on ourselves, executing our calls and getting back to some of our base fundamentals and technique and stuff like that.
Yeah, how has your relationship with Glenn Schumann evolved from your time as a recruit to now third-year player, multi-year starter with him?
I think we just got a great relationship. Obviously it grew throughout the process until now. So, man, me and Coach Shu, we got a great relationship for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned hitting on the fundamentals during the bye week. What were some of those specific things that y'all really harped on the few days in practice last week?
Just striking the block, getting off a block, not going for one-for-ones, and also making the tackle. Just, simple stuff like that, just doing simple better, such as playing football, simple.
CJ to your left, over here. What's your earliest memory of this rivalry?
I think my earliest memory probably was just walking into the stadium, no one there, then coming out for the game, and the whole stadium was packed out. So that was my earliest memory of it for sure.
Obviously, you're a Georgia guy. Does this rivalry have any extra meaning to you, just, having grown up seeing it? I know you're from South Georgia, so just what's kind of the feeling you get trying to play in this game?
It definitely means a lot. Like you said, I'm from Georgia, I'm a Georgia kid, so definitely means a lot in that aspect. So obviously the guys, the history of this game before me, so that's why it means a lot to me.
TJ, not an issue here with Kirby and the continuity they've had here, but we're looking around and seeing all these coaches being fired and portal windows opening up. How hard would that be for a player, do you think, to lose a coach mid-season, and what is the value of being able to play at a place like Georgia where you kind of know the coach's future?
I think that's why you come to Georgia. You kind of know that the coach is going to be here. They're going to stick around. But for someone else, for their coach to leave, I imagine it being hard. I'm not sure how that process would go.
CJ, one of the things that Coach Smart talked about a few minutes ago as far as improvements he wants to see on the defense is better tackling. Mm-hmm. What are the things you guys have to do that, to be more consistent tacklers and to do that game to game?
I think he starts in practice, right? You got to be a good tackler in practice. Obviously, we're not tackling going to the ground, but, you want to get good thuds, not half thuds. So he starts in practice. So he's just having a good week of tackling in practice.
Yeah, when you guys have beaten Florida in Jacksonville, the big thing to do after the game is jump up in the stands and celebrate with the fans. Just what makes that tradition sort of special, and how much do you guys relish the opportunity to do that when you do win this rivalry game?
Because, they don't have to be there. They decide to come and be there, so just a good time to interact with them, for cheering us on and our appreciation towards them.
What stands out about Jaden Ball? How does he compare to some other backs you've faced in this season?
I think Jaden Ball is a good back. He's a very patient runner. He's a very patient until he hit the hole. When he hit the holes, he's very explosive, and he got some breakaway speed.
Another thing Kirby was talking about is wanting to see improved third down defense. What stands out to you as far as what the defense is doing on that down?
I think you got to force more third and longer type of situations. It's gonna be hard to win third down if you're in third and one a lot. So we got to force those thirds and longs.
CJ, what stands out to you about Florida's pass catchers and just the challenge they're going to present on Saturday?
I think they got some good receivers and some good catchers. Obviously, they can catch the ball, but man, they got some speedsters for sure. So it's going to be a good little challenge.
How have you seen Chris Cole develop, especially with everything that Georgia asked him to do, playing inside linebacker and off the edge?
I think he's just doing a good job of just taking the reps. And, he's all starts with reps. Obviously knowing the call, making the call, but he can go out there and rush too. So that's something he kind of just honed on his craft, and he's done.
What did the bye week look like just for you guys as a team? Did you guys just get away from football and watch some football together, or did you guys just kind of all go your separate ways?
Talking about the practice, or you talking about the weekend? Oh yeah, some guys stayed around, some guys went back home. Some guys went back home together. So it was a mixture of both, for sure.
Yeah, is there anything that y'all tried to work on in practice to be able to come out and start fast as a defense in this game and going forward, or is that just one of those things that comes down to execution in the moment?
Yeah, it definitely comes down to execution. Just executing the right call, our discipline. My bad. I being in the right spot.
Got any more for CJ?
This is
The last one, Halloween's at the end of the week. I want to know your costume that you loved as a kid, and if I come over to your house on Friday, what kind of candy are we giving away?
It was crazy. My Halloween costume actually was a football player. I know it's kind of candy, probably like Hershey's cookie and cream, something like that.
You dressed up as a football player for Halloween?
Yeah, I had my recreation jersey on, my cleats. I wore it to school.
I mean, yeah, he puts in a lot of time, work, and effort into just off the field stuff like watching film, doing choosing plays he likes and stuff like that. And I just see him doing that and working so hard while we're watching film. He's in there writing stuff down on a piece of paper, what plays he likes, what he sees against this coverage. And I just think throughout the year he's gotten better and better at doing that and just putting in work off the field and deciding what he's going to do on Saturdays. That's helped him be able to do that.
Drew, so much of the conversation with this offensive line this year has been about battling injuries and fighting through it. How big was last week as far as having a bye week where y'all are still working but didn't have a game to grind through on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss, I think it's the first time we've had the same starting offensive line, and it's just been moving parts the whole other part of the year. But it's also good to have moving parts because we've created a lot of depth through doing that and people that we can rotate in the game and keep the offensive line fresh, and that's been really good for us. And just having a bye week to get even more healthy, kind of not as banged up as anymore. And it's just good to be able to go out there and this week and just have a full offensive line and a lot of depth.
What's your earliest memory of this rivalry?
I've been asked that a couple times, and I haven't really been able to think. I don't remember the Gator stomp or anything. I remember, I think someone fumbled going into the end zone. Florida fumbled once, and we ended up winning the game. And that's probably my earliest memory. I was watching it with my grandparents. I really don't remember who it was. I just remember Florida fumbling and us winning the game.
Yeah, how helpful can a bye week be for some of the freshmen you guys have had, like Dontrell, like Juan? How big of a jump can those guys make just with a week to focus on themselves going into this one?
During the bye week, we reflect on what we've done good and what we've done bad and how we can improve in all those categories. And we watched tape from some of the games of what we've done good and bad, and we try to apply that to practice. And I think that's really good for them just to be able to see what we've done in the games, because normally in the season you have one day to look at the game you just played, and then you're on to the next game. And just to be able to reevaluate and see what they've done good and what they haven't done good and just see how they can improve has been good for them.
Yeah, in this rivalry, when you guys have won, the big thing you guys do afterwards is run up and jump in the stands. Just why is that a special tradition for the guys on this team? What does it mean to get to celebrate with the Georgia fans that make the trip in that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool because people make the trip down there. It's a long trip. You're just showing that you appreciate them, and it's fun to do. Just jump in the stands, take pictures with people, and I think it's just a fun tradition that's stuck.
Your father's been around this game, back to his playing days and a long time as a coach. Does he get more worked up for a game like this than a normal game on schedule?
I think so, but I'm really not 100% sure. I know that he gets more worked up. He gets worked up for all of them for a different reason, just because he's played in games like against these teams, so many games against most of the teams we played. He has something that he remembers from each game that works him up about it.
Drew, I know I guess this is the third year you've done the Rick Bowling deal. I know you guys have other team outings and you do a lot together, but what's different about that, and how much fun is that, and how competitive is it within the team? I guess I think Woodring might have won it. Is that actually something?
Yeah, I think Woodring won, but it's cool for me, especially because I got to be around Coach Rick so much whenever I was younger, when my dad was here, and just getting to see that and go out and see how many people are in support of an event for him is awesome. And it doesn't get too competitive. I mean, no one really goes too crazy, but I heard Lawson was in my lane, and he had to bowl the first game, and I bowled the second game, and I heard Peyton heard Lawson score and then wanted to beat it, and that's how he ended up winning, something like that.
Drew, I know we've asked you before about being a legacy player, your dad and all that being here. But what does that, when you look at it, what does that mean to you to be a legacy guy here at Georgia? And obviously there's some other guys, their dads played here too on this team right now. Are you guys maybe a little bit closer because of that?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Just not closer because the legacy or anything. I think closer because the amount of time I've gotten to spend with him being a coach here. And just I'm getting to see him every day. And when I've probably seen him more since I've become a football player at Georgia than I've seen him the rest of my whole life combined, just because he's always on the road or doing stuff like that. So it's just been good for me to get closer to him through doing all of this.
One of the areas that Florida has had a lot of success this year has been stopping the run. What stands out to you about them in that regard, especially just that defensive front, what they do well?
Yeah, I think their front seven is just big, athletic, and aggressive football players. They're kind of built the same way that our team's built a little bit, and they run the same kind of defenses that our team runs as well. So it's just they pride themselves, I think, on stopping the run, and that's something that we need to know how to attack this week. We can do a good bit of more good on good this week, just playing against our own guys because they kind of scheme up stuff the same way as we do, and we can just get after it and learn how we can run the ball on them effectively.
Drew, just where's the offensive line just as far as, being healthy? Obviously, you guys get hit on every play, so just not having to do that for a week. What are you feeling, and what are some of the other guys in the room feeling like this week?
Yeah, obviously, just doing it every week, you get a little banged up. You get nicks and bruises everywhere, but having an off week, practicing a couple times, still getting after it, but just taking care of your body, having extra time over the weekend to take care of your body just meant a lot. And I think I know I'm feeling a little better. I think everyone else is too.
I was waiting for the last question because it's totally off topic, but we got Halloween coming on Friday, so I want to know what was your best, worst costume as a kid, and if I come over to your place on Friday, what are you serving?
My best and worst costume?
Yeah, when you were younger.
I'm trying to think. I know I was Jack Sparrow for a couple years. I was Aaron Murray 2 years. I can't really think of anything else I was. Something from Star Wars, maybe. I'd say my best one was probably, I'll give it to Aaron Murray. And then my worst one was probably one of the Star Wars ones I was. And if I don't know what I'm serving if you're coming over on Friday.
Just follow up, because Murray's part of our show. Just, what does an Aaron Murray Halloween outfit look like?
I had some old football pants that my dad had in the closet, an Aaron Murray jersey on with some little tiny pads, and like a bucket helmet on that my dad had in the basement. It was kind of a last-minute costume, but it came together well.